technology down here in my new study. Hello Facebook, hello YouTube. How are you all today? I hope everybody is really good. Now I'm just using a different phone on Facebook. I'm just going to check something. Yep, that's okay. Hopefully it will work. So I've got Instagram up on Earle Me and obviously Facebook on the Earle Wellbeing magazine page for Facebook, and this will then go up later on YouTube as well, so lots of ways to catch up. Hi from Paris, how are you? Hello from wet Cornwall. Yeah, do you know, we had the most beautiful morning this morning, and I know that because I had a new treadmill delivered. Yes, because although I do love running, and I put some running pictures up on my Instagram today, a bit of tongue-in-cheek, I did a run on the amazing beach up in Scotland on St Andrews, beautiful long beach, and the people that I was with said, oh, you absolutely have to go and run on this beach because it's where they filmed Chariots of Fire. Do you know that amazing sequence where the music from Vangelis and they're just moving in slow motion, all these guys in there, I think they're running barefoot. And so we kind of did a recreation of that. So I got them to film me in slow-mo. Always look good in slow-mo, I have to tell you. Top tip, if you're filming anything, you know, that's a bit active, do it in slow-mo because it looks so impressive. And I just popped up on my Instagram this morning and used the music from Vangelis. So anyway, so it just made me think, yeah, actually, I really want to get back into my running, and I'm only really a fair weather runner. I know some people go out in all weathers, but it's not really for me. So I'd ordered a treadmill ages ago, and they couldn't deliver because I think during lockdown everybody bought a treadmill, even second-hand ones, you know, like nothing. Anyway, I've had this order in for a long time, and finally, today was the day when they were coming this morning, and I get a call from the delivery guy to say we are literally 2 minutes down the lane, but the lorry they've sent us in is too big, we're going to have to go back to the depot. And I was like, no, you can't do this, I have waited so long. And I knew it was marked in my diary like with a big circle, you know, be here this morning for the delivery. Anyway, so I said, well, listen, I've got an old 4x4, I'm going to meet you and we're going to put it in the back of the car. So this morning, straight after the school run, there we were struggling with this great big thing in the lane. And then I drove them here, and they set it up, and they obviously moved the lorry so it didn't block the road. Anyway, they were so great. So big thanks to, I think they were called Bishopstone, the delivery company. Anyway, you were great, guys. So thank you very much. I look forward to getting on it. I haven't yet tried it out because it was a bit of a busy morning. So Monday's always a bit crazy. I'm actually in my gym kit, but I'm in my gym kit for a reason, because I want to talk about the new collection from Asquith. Oh my goodness, I love this brand. You know, I'm not a paid ambassador, I promise, but I just love them. It's a British, great clothing brand. I wore it a lot actually when I was up in Scotland this weekend. This morning, I got up, and for the school run, you know, it's kind of clothes that you can wear for the gym or to do some Pilates or whatever, but actually you can just wear it around the house or wear it travelling. It's really comfortable. I wore it when I was on the train. So this is one of my favourite shapes that they do, and this is actually quite old, I've had this for years, but it washes and washes really well. So I wore this morning, first thing, shoved it on to do the school drop with a pair of their, what I like about the way their trousers are cut is, you see they're slightly higher at the back, really clever, and these are just straight leg pants, but really comfy. And then over the top I had this little wrap, one of their wraps, which you just tie around, and actually this is what I'm wearing today. And we do still have our Liz Loves discount with them. I will just double check, because I just got their new brochure, which I was really impressed with, so I want to show you that. And they make really, really soft things in bamboo. Has anybody bought any Asquith? Let me know if you have, because, you know, I have to tell you, I am impressed. Now, let me get onto my spreadsheet. Asquith, where are we? Here we go. Yeah, 15% off with Liz Loves, so really good. And this is their new catalogue, so if you are on their mailing list, then that's what you'll get. And look, it says exclusive interview with Liz Earle. I'd completely forgotten that, because I thought, oh, I must show everybody the new catalogue because it's so great. And I thought, oh, why has it got my name on it? Anyway, I did an interview, which I think it's towards the back here. There you go. Winter Wellbeing. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about vitality and well-being. But honestly, I have to say, you know, everything they do, that's one of the back shapes I really like. It's really flattering. You bought the jumpsuit, yeah, and the backwind top. Love them for yoga, yeah, absolutely. Hey, Julia, you're in your Asquith. Yeah, Nikki, I've got quite a lot now. Yeah, well, okay, so this is what I'm wearing. So I'm wearing a couple of different things, which I wanted to show you because it's from their new collection. So I'll pop that down over here. And I have got on, okay, these, which I really like. So they've got their high-waisted leggings. So basically, I've popped this little ballet wrap around because this is just so useful. You know, you can just throw that on like a little cardigan, and then you can wrap it around you as you choose. But these are their high-waisted leggings. And obviously, I mean, I like them because they come up really high and they kind of cover your tummy. But if you want to, you know, you can make them a bit lower, should you want to. And then this is just a bit of fun. This is their kind of funky little top. And obviously, you know, I'm not going to be all in leopard. I think that's a bit too much. But, you know, you might just want a little bit of something. So these are, I find that they're quite generous. So these are both small. In fact, everything I'm wearing is in a size small. And I'm not normally a size small. I'd say I was normally like a small medium. The leggings are quite long, but I just turn them up at the bottom here, and that works really well. And I also find that if you go maybe slightly smaller with the leggings, because they're so well made and they've got such a good amount of stretch in it, they kind of suck you in, so you don't wobble, which is really nice. So it's like wearing really reinforced Spanx, because I am not a leggings person. I mean, leggings, I did leggings first time round, okay, I'm sure many of us did. Early 80s, yeah, we were all on our leggings, and then, you know, 5 kids and all the rest of it, aging, thinking, no, I love it when my girls wear leggings, but not for me. But actually these, there's something about the way, they're not compression, but they just suck you in, and they last and last and last. They are truly the most comfortable leggings that I have worn. I'm going to stop now because I'm sounding like an advert, and I don't mean to. But it does say, one of the main reasons that I connected with them in the beginning is that they are a proper, sustainable, ethical brand. So even, well, I did have somewhere, the bag they came in, where did I put it? Might have gone, maybe it's gone to the bin. But anyway, even the bags they come in are made of cornstarch, you know, they're plastic free, really good, really good. Yeah, Nikki says they're very generous in size, yeah. Well, if you're a 12, yeah, you'd probably go for a 10, maybe. I mean, it depends. I like things that are quite snug when I'm working out. I like that extra support, you know, particularly with bra tops. You know, I just find that they give you a bit of extra comfort, and I quite like that. If you prefer things looser, I mean, the looser yoga pants, for example, you might want to have them, you know, in your regular size. But you can always exchange them, I'm sure, if they're the wrong size. But yeah, so this is called the Balance Bra Top. And it's, yeah, super soft. It says super sustainable, breathable and durable. And honestly, I keep, you know, I'm guilty when I get new things because my old things still look as good as new. Anyway, so that is the fitness, and please do, if you haven't yet seen my video of running on the beach, do take a look and see what you think. Now today is all about vitality, and I'm going to be joined with Sarah Jackson, who we did chat with before, from Life Armour. Life Armour, another great brand, and again we've got an amazing Liz Loves discount with them. These, I don't know whether you can see, I think maybe on Facebook you can see, these are some of the things that I have from Life Armour, and in fact I got them out of my cupboard because, as you know, I'm sure you do, I have this every night. This is my Drops of Slumber. You can see in fact how I need to get some more because I'm right at the bottom of that. That's come from my bedside cupboard. And then they've got the drops of vitamin D for bone health, so that's another one that I'm really enjoying. Drops of immunity. This has got interesting herbs that we're going to talk about. And the latest one is called Drops of Vitality. So yes, as we get into the new season, let us see. So Sarah Jackson, I wonder if you are under Life Armour. Oh no, SJ Health. There you go, Sarah Jackson. Let me connect with you. Thanks, Deb. Do you like the beach run? Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I think if you wear a small, then yeah, I would go with a 10. Hi, how are you?
Hi Liz, I'm fine, thanks. How are you? You've had a busy morning, it sounds.
It's been a bit mad. It's always like that on a Monday. I don't know what it is, just, you know, rushing around, get everything together, and everybody seems to, I've still got people coming. I've got some lovely curtain ladies at the moment putting up my curtains, which I had to adapt from my old bedroom. I had to change. I reused them, but they needed kind of resizing. So they're upstairs now, putting all of that together, which is really good. So yeah, all a bit mad, which is why it's really important now, I think, to talk about vitality and immunity. So I know we've chatted before, but do you want to give just a little brief resume of who you are and what your connection is with all of this?
Yeah, so I'm a registered nutritional therapist and a naturopath. So that means I work with nutrition, plus things like adaptogenics and herbs a lot in my clinical practice. I wear a few different hats. So I have my own clinic, SJ Health, which I've been running for quite some time in West London. And I also work as the head of nutrition for a really amazing award-winning clinic called the Optimum Health Clinic. And that's where we specialise in fatigue-related conditions.
Interesting.
So
Whereabouts is that?
We're in North London. We're near Hampstead.
Well, I guess a lot of your work's online anyway, isn't it?
Oh yeah, we've been really lucky because even before, we're working with people who are often very, very sick. So they're often bedbound, housebound, and they're also based around the world. So we were already in a really great position that we were working remotely.
Yeah.
And there we focus on really big sort of fatigue-related conditions like ME, CFS. And because we've got so much experience with that, we've found ourselves working with long COVID really naturally.
Of course.
So work a lot with fatigue and how to rebuild energy, which is why, you know, talking about vitality today is so important, especially when we think about the season change. You know, we're all going to be exposed to more bugs and viruses, let alone, you know, COVID.
Let alone COVID, it's just that time of year. Absolutely. I mean, anybody who's exposed either, you know, working or, you know, going into shops or got kids or grandkids coming home, I mean, that is just the time, isn't it? Now, the drops of vitality, I think, are really interesting, and there's two things that I'd love to talk about, really, particularly today. One is the vitamin side, you know, looking at things like vitamin B12, so important, isn't it, for vitality and for energy. And then also, let's have a bit of a discussion about adaptogenic herbs, because I think this is such a fascinating area, and I know that Life Pharma use quite a lot of them, and I've started to use things like ashwagandha, which I know is adaptogenic. But you know, I'm not a qualified naturopath. I'm not really experienced in that area. So I'd love to pick your brains a little bit there. But can we talk about the B vitamins? You know, what they do, why they're important, who might be at risk of not having enough?
Absolutely. So they're a collection of 8 water-soluble vitamins. So that means that basically they're carried into the body's tissues and they're not normally stored in the body. That's true of all of them apart from B12. And B12, as you said, plays such a crucial role in supporting energy, just like B6. So out of the 8 B vitamins, the 2 really big ones for energy are B6 and B12, which is why they were included in these particular drops. Yeah. We know that B12 is really important for every cell in the body. It's actually something called a methyl donor. So that means it's really important for methylation, which is involved in every system and every
methylation. That is going to be the watchword coming up. I mean, everybody needs to know about methylation, but we'll park that for another day. But just suffice to say, B6 and methylation are key, aren't they? They are deeply intertwined.
Absolutely, and B12 as well. So the two of those are really
okay.
B12 also helps make red blood cells. They both support metabolism. So B12 deficiency naturally can result in things like tiredness and even anemia just because of the role that they play with cells.
Right.
We know that B6 and B12 have also been shown to reduce heart disease, which is quite an interesting area that they're looking into.
Yeah.
And
are they only in animal produce, B12? You talk about them being water soluble. That's very interesting, isn't it? The difference between fat soluble and water soluble. So fat soluble being things like vitamin A, retinol, vitamin D, things that we find in animal foods and sort of more fat and oil type of foods, I guess. And then water soluble, so we can store our fat soluble vitamins for a bit, can't we? But the water soluble ones we need every day.
We need every day, and it's also a good idea to split the dosages and have just a little bit at a time because our body can only absorb so much at one time.
Little and often, okay.
Yeah, and they actually dissolve in waters, so, you know, that's why it can be quite hard to stay on top of the levels because they can get easily dissolved in the body. So small amounts often if you're talking about supplementation. And as you said, the food sources of B12 are often meat, dairy. So thinking about things like clams, fish, meat, eggs, and dairy products. And that's why so many people now are kind of insufficient or deficient in their levels because, of course, we're all trying to, you know, be a bit healthier, a bit more plant-based. vegan vegetarian, so that's not really helpful to a vegan who's not getting any of those foods naturally. So that's where supplementation is important, and it can really play a role.
Definitely.
Now B6 we can get from other foods like sweet potato, brown rice, chickpeas, potatoes. So it's not just meat-based for B6.
Right.
But it's really quite hard to absorb them and quite hard to absorb and assimilate. So that's where supplementation can be useful. But I'll always say, Liz, that it's really important that somebody speaks to a professional who knows what they're doing with supplementation before they just go and start.
Yeah.
And it's also a really good idea to check your B12 and also folate levels, because that's a really important cofactor for B12. And that can be checked really easily with your GP. So I would suggest that people might like to look, because it's also important to make sure you're supplementing enough, because if you were actually very low in B12, you probably need to have a high dose. So a test is always best rather than guessing.
Yeah, absolutely. And a couple of people actually commenting on Instagram to say that they've done the Life Code GX genetic testing. I've just sent off my new one, so that they've got one for brain cognition, which I think is going to be fascinating. So we're going to do a bit of a dive into that as well. But we've got lots of information on that on the Earle Wellbeing website. But that really can tell your genetic components as well as to how much you might need. But you know, from my point of view, I just feel better when I'm taking these, and I think, you know, that is kind of the test, isn't it? You just think, well, you know, yes, of course you can go and have levels clinically checked, but a lot of it is about absorption and your genetic makeup anyway. But actually the proof of the pudding surely is just how do you actually feel?
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
how do you actually feel with it? A couple of quick questions before we talk a little bit more specifically. With all these different drops here, can you take them all together?
Yes.
I was going to say, I hope your answer is yes, because I'm taking them all together.
Yeah, absolutely. All the ingredients are really synergistic and they work really well. The dosages are safe for most people, as I say, if you're on medication or, you know, that there's something else that's worth checking for interactions. But all of these can be done. I mean, I've got them all in front of me, and I've been taking the Vitality. I'm on the Immune Plus at the moment.
Yeah.
And then I know we both like our drops of balance, don't we?
Absolutely. Drops of balance just, for me, just take the edge off stressful situations. I'm very pleased to say that having moved house and sort of, you know, reshuffled my life slightly, I have less of a need of drops of balance, which is very good. So I think, you know, feeling very positive and strong. But I do like to have them there, and I think, you know, there are times when you can feel a little bit overwhelmed with things, and it just is just a little bit of moment of calm. And it says take a moment to unwind, and I think they're good. The other reason I like the drops, they taste really delicious, much easier to swallow than tablets and capsules and things. But because there's this whole sublingual thing of going under the tongue, and I've talked about this before with Better You, with sprays and that kind of thing, and NMN, the powder that I take under the tongue, you know, they just go straight into the bloodstream, don't they? They don't go through the digestive system, so they're really quick.
Exactly, so that they do work, you know, on the spot almost. And that's something that's important actually when we're thinking about beets, is women who suffer from chronic acid reflux or digestive issues. Those people are more prone to having a B12 deficiency.
Really? I didn't know that.
So, I mean, that's that role where it plays in metabolism. And if people were taking PPI, so some medication to reduce the stomach acid level, they're the people who tend to be more at risk of having low B12. And something else I wanted to mention that's really relevant to your audience is that hormonal imbalances during and after menopause can also lead to B12 deficiency. It's basically that as the female body ages, the ability to absorb this B12 diminishes. So women over 50 are much more...
Say, you know, with my B12 levels, I'm just getting a low power warning on that phone. I'm just going to make sure that it's, because it is charging, so it should be alright. Yeah, I think it's, you know, I definitely feel brighter, and I mean, I eat a lot of animal-based products, you know, I have dairy, cheese, eggs, all of that, and yet I still feel that a little bit of extra B12 is doing me some good and is kind of acting as a bit of a pick-me-up. So the latest ones are drops of Vitality, I think, which is B6 and B12, so you've got those both together.
So that's the formula for energy, really, that's going to help boost energy.
Energy, yeah, it says here, contributes to the reduction of tiredness and fatigue. And this has also got some interesting herbs in it. Maca Root, Tell me a bit about Maca Root, because you hear about Maca powder as well. What's Maca going to do for us?
So Maca is something I've been working with for years. I love it. It's a root that came from Peru, and actually it's been around, like all adaptogens in these herbs that we're going to talk about. They've been around for thousands of years in Ayurveda, Chinese medicine, you know, South America, warriors when they go out to battle. It's really it's amazing.
It's really strong.
It's like a caffeine-free sort of pep up in the morning. So that's why people might use a maca powder in a smoothie. It gives you some natural energy without the risk of, you know, jitteriness from caffeine, or if you're not someone that works well with caffeine. So I really like it for that, but it's also good to balance hormone levels. And you'll be pleased to know it supports a healthy libido as well, which is something that's really good.
It supports a healthy libido. Excellent. Yeah. There we go. Not sure I'll be putting that immediately to the test, but you never know. It's a useful thing to have up my sleeve.
Well, there was a study in Massachusetts General Hospital where they did 2 preliminary studies that suggested that the extracts boost libido, particularly for postmenopausal women. So, I mean, that is...
I love that. Okay, so, all right, listen up, ladies. So, Maca Root is boosting our libido post-menopause.
Yeah, that's what the studies indicate.
The study in Massachusetts, I am so looking up that study.
Yeah.
Again, there's lots of hearts coming on Instagram now. There's going to be a run on it, and that's what's in here. You've got this with the B6, the B12, and the Maca Root.
Exactly, and there's something else in here called ginkgo biloba that people might be more familiar with. That's more like an Asian adaptogen that's been used a lot for things like short-term memory loss.
Yes, and I know it for as a memory aid.
Well, they've done some interesting studies on dementia as well. I think they're still at the early stages. Nothing conclusive has come out in regards to dementia. But it really can help with a lot of different neural pathways. And that is also a really good one when you think about postmenopausally, you know, brain fog, short-term memory loss, in peri and postmenopause, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, no, definitely. I should just say, actually, we'll go on and talk generally about adaptogenic herbs, because this is just such a fascinating area, and I can see all the comments. People are really intrigued by all of this. We do have a really, really special offer with Life Armour, which my team, I know, have worked really hard on getting, and that is that they are giving everybody... no, which one are they giving? They are giving...
I think it's the Immunity Plus.
Okay, the Immunity Plus, excellent. So you get that as a free gift. And that is, if you spend £45 or more, you get your Immunity Plus drops free. And you also get your 15% Liz Loves discount. Okay, that's if it's over £45. And they have lots of great things on their website, actually. I use, this is something... I use Super Me capsules. I'm taking those at the moment. That's adaptogenic, so we'll talk about those. And I also love, if you need to bump up the value of your order a little bit, this is a really cute little thing that holds my tea. So you can make natural mint leaf tea and all of that, because they have their herb teas as well. Anyway, so just to throw that out there. And I think we also have a subscription gift for the magazine. Anyway, let us get on. So anyway, it's all on the website, so do just try it. Liz Loves, all in capitals, all one word, if you are on Life Armour. But can we talk now generally about adaptogenic herbs? Because you mentioned there Maca. I mentioned earlier ashwagandha, which I think is in the Drops of Balance, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
you're
ashwagandha.
Right. And it's in Super Me as well.
And Super Me, excellent. So yes, I am having plenty of ashwagandha at the moment. Just generally, broadly, what are adaptogenic herbs and why are they different from like normal, culinary herbs?
So they're plants. So the actual definition is any plant or particular herbs that help us manage stress as we experience it. So the way that they work is they modulate the release of the stress hormones from the adrenal glands, like cortisol, and they help the body adapt in times of stress. They work by sensing the body's needs and tipping the balance in the right direction. So they're usually very gentle, they're safe for most people. So a way to look at it is the same adaptogen can help you sleep better by relaxing in the evening. And if taken in the morning, it can give you energy because they work really synergistically with the body. They can kind of help tip you in the right balance. And part of this is the way that, so these are roots and herbs and plants. Ginkgo comes from a tree, as we said, Maca Root. So these are specific plants and herbs that have ticked the right boxes to show that they work on those stress responses.
On the stress responses. That's really interesting, isn't it? And that's why you can have these herbs that they're the same herbs, but they help you to sleep,
Yeah.
to switch off that stress, and then in the morning to kind of wake you up and empower you to cope better with stresses and tension and just kind of daily life.
Do you know what I love about them? So they've been used in traditional Ayurvedic medicine and traditional Chinese medicine for thousands of years. But most recently, the Russian army, I think I mentioned this last time, because I just really like this story, it's so random, that the Russian army, as inspired by the Far East, which wasn't far away, they could see that people were using adaptogenic berries and things, and it was really supporting their health. So the army looked at the adaptogens in the 1950s, and the purpose was to increase stamina and survival in harmful conditions and environments. So the extent of the research carried out was enormous. They did like 1,009 studies that primarily used pharmacological and clinical studies. And they were published in Russia up until 1982. So a lot of the information that we've got now, thankfully, comes from the Russian army, who were looking to use adaptogens to support the soldiers, you know, basically getting sent out to war in awful conditions, that this helped boost resilience and help boost their stress response.
That is so fascinating. Are there any contraindications, any people who would be wary of using adaptogenic herbs?
There's one with ginkgo, and I think...
Okay, sure.
And then ginkgo also can increase your risk of bleeding. So if you're planning to have surgery, I mean, you should kind of stop supplements anyway before surgery, especially omega-3, because that can thin your blood. I think that's the only one. I mean, as I say, if you're on medication, you always need to check, because there can be many contraindications. But generally, they're so safe because they come from plants that have been...
Well, they're foods, aren't they? That's why they're food supplements and not, not medicines, because they are, like the Maca Root. It's just like using, when you think about herbs that we're using anyway, in cooking, and we're eating, most days perhaps, basil and parsley and dill and all these different things.
Well, most pharmaceuticals have come from plants or flowers anyway. They're based in nature. They're just replicating what we've already got in nature. So, for the majority of people, in the majority of cases, these things are very safe to use. Yeah. And they have so much amazing evidence. There's a huge amount of studies, and as I say, these Russian reports, but also many others, that really indicate their clinical benefits. Yeah. So it's like ashwagandha, as you said. There was a really great clinical finding from this year where participants used ashwagandha twice daily for 8 weeks, and they displayed an average reduction in serum cortisol level of 27.9%. And that's pretty significant in 8 weeks, nearly a 30% drop.
Nearly a 30%, and cortisol being the stress hormone that kind of makes us feel so anxious and edgy. So using flight or fight, exactly. So using ashwagandha every day for 8 weeks. Reduced that by nearly 30%.
And it also lowered the DAS measure, which is the standard measure for depression and anxiety stress scale, and it reduced those by 71.6% over 8 weeks. So it reduced the scores for depression and anxiety by 71.6% over 8 weeks using ashwagandha.
That's extraordinary.
Yeah.
And is it something that you can take long term, or do you kind of cycle it? Do you take it for 3 months and then stop, or what's the deal with these herbs?
I'm a member of BAND, which is the British Association of Nutritional Therapy, and we are very strict on rules like that. So every 3 months you should really kind of review it, and you should see whether that need is still there. But generally they're safe. And there's a particular strain of ashwagandha that's been really well studied, which is what was referred to in that study. And that's this KSM22, which is the one that's in Super Me.
Oh, so really? So there's different types. I mean, I wonder, would that be labelled on here, I wonder, or just have to trust
it is actually in the Super Me. That's KSM66, which is the one that's been well...
I have never noticed that before. Thank you for pointing that out. I don't know, you probably can't read the small print on my little tub here. But absolutely, when it says ashwagandha, 230 milligrams, KSM 66, and that's the form, that's the variety of that particular herb.
Yeah. That's going to give you those clinical benefits, the therapeutic. Well, that's what's been studied, It's hard with all of these products because so much money involved in random clinical trials. And,
it's expensive to get them all tested.
So not all these things have been backed up by science, but that's not to say they're not going to work. It's just that small companies don't have the funds to conduct those huge trials.
Yeah. That is, yeah, I mean, I do love this particular blend. I have to say, these capsules, it's got magnesium in it. Ashwagandha is the main one. It's got a bit of passion flower, which I also use for sleeping. I think passion flower is also in the slumber drops, isn't it? Yeah, passion flower with valerian, which is another really lovely calming herb. And then rhodiola. Talk to me about rhodiola. Where does that come from?
Rhodiola, that's another one from the Far East, and that one is particularly good for anxiety. So it's really nice to have in there because it has a really, really calming effect. And I often find, with all these formulas, just like with medicines, there's different ones that will suit different people better. And I know in clinic I've tried ashwagandha for someone that maybe didn't work as well, and then we tried rhodiola, and that's been the winning formula for them.
Really?
But this one's so nice because it's got a mixture of everything. So you're getting a multiple amount of benefits from the different blends, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, as we come into the change of seasons, and presumably, you know, you as a naturopath will be looking at the change of seasons at a time when you do tend to naturally review things and change what you might be taking or add something into, you know, into the mix.
Yeah, exactly. It's really important right now. You know, I think we need to eat with the seasons, lots of the orange pumpkins and sweet potato and, you know, all of the orange and yellow hues that we see around us are full of polyphenols, which will naturally support our immunity. So, yeah, I think nature provides everything. We just need to know how to harness it and what to look for and what to use and when. But, yeah, this is a really good time to be focusing on your immunity. Lots of antioxidants, lots of beautiful vegetables, fruit, orange, yellow, red, all those colours are going to provide a lot of the vitamin C and a lot of those nutrients that we need to support healthy immunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, coming into the immunity, so I've got my immunity drops here, and you know, these have got really good things that I think, there's lots of vitamin C, and there's a special form that comes from, does it come from the acerola? Is that an acerola? Is that like a cherry acerola?
Yeah, exactly. Acerola cherry is very, very high in vitamin C.
Yeah.
And it's well absorbed by the body. So, yeah, it's a good amount there.
So this and this has something which I love, holy basil. I mean, I love the name, holy basil. My daughter, Lily, she went to an all-girls school, and the chaplain or the priest in charge there was called Father Basil. So it kind of reminds me of Father Basil when we talk about holy basil, this herb. He was a great man, sadly.
It was my grandfather's.
Died.
Oh, my grandfather was called Basil.
Really? Yeah. And it's and of course I've got my little granddog is also called Basil, so it's a special name in our family. So holy basil, it's like a basil. It's like basil and tomato salad. I mean, it is that family, isn't it? But it's got extra properties about it, which is why they called it holy.
Yeah, exactly. So it supports the immune cells, but it also is quite calming on the body. Yeah. So you think that, you know, for our immune system to have a chance of working efficiently, the body needs to be fairly calm, and you know, that's why supporting the stress response is really, really important. We know that cortisol can massively deplete the immune system, so it's really, really good.
Right, so yeah, that's a really interesting point. So not only is a lower cortisol level is going to be good for stress, but by default you're supporting the immune system, because then your immune system isn't stressed. So everything is lifted and boosted.
And it's also sleep. If we also think about the role of sleep, I know it's been talked about to death, but it's imperative for our immune system, and it's imperative for our stress response that we're getting sufficient sleep, but also good quality sleep. Yeah. And that's where, I know with menopause, perimenopause, postmenopause, sleep can be so easily affected.
Yeah. And so, even just aging. You know, I was talking to a couple of sleep experts recently, and you know, even if we do sort it out with magnesium and all of those things, just kind of genetically as we age, we tend to find it harder to A, get to sleep, but B, then stay asleep.
Exactly, and having elevated cortisol levels when you're going to bed is really not going to help the situation. So that's where things like the drops of slumber are really, really useful, because they will just help to use that adaptogenic property where it's just working with your body, calming everything down, so that you'll have a much better chance of getting to sleep quicker and staying asleep. And that's where ashwagandha really can be very helpful.
So if I wanted to try a few of these, thinking about stepping into the new season, drops of immunity does, with everything that's going around us at the moment, does seem to be a little bit of a no-brainer. And that's the one with the holy basil and all the lovely vitamin C and astragalus and echinacea and elderberry and all those lovely autumn herbs.
And we should say as well, Liz, that elderberry.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, really interesting studies on elderberry and sambucol. And then the drops of vitality. Again, this is the one with the B6 and the B12, those really lovely vitamins that we were talking about, with the ginkgo biloba and the maca. Ladies, do not forget about the maca. Very excited with this new bit of information. So that, they for me seem to be like the standout duo in a way, the immunity and the vitality, but also the balance to take the edge off stress, and of course the slumber. For sleep. I mean, I bulk buy this. I buy this 3 at a time.
There is a role for all of them, but I would say, as we're changing the season at the moment, particularly coming out of summer, going into autumn, winter, it's a tough time for a lot of people. Yeah. And there really is a role for the drops of vitality. If you're feeling that you've just kind of lost the mojo, if you've got kids at school, just going back to school, trying to get back into that routine, everything can be a bit tiring, a bit exhausting. Yeah. And you know that you do have a clinical insufficiency or deficiency in B12 or B6, then that's brilliant. Think about that one as sort of the energy formula, the pep ups, going to do that maca with the added benefits of the hormone balancing and the immunity. Yeah, right now kids are bringing all sorts home. My goodness, I mean, I don't know how my daughter's managed to stay at school. All of her best friends have been sent home with COVID.
Oh my goodness, yeah, and everyone is just testing.
Yeah.
Very quick question before we go, Sarah, that somebody's saying if you're taking aspirin, presumably that's like a low dose daily aspirin, there's no issue with that, is there? It's not going to
You should probably check the role of some of these herbs with low dose aspirin.
Yeah, fine. I think if you've been advised to take anything by your doctor, perhaps. But what's great about your Instagram and also Life Armour is that you are really on it in terms of answering questions, having messages, direct messages, comments, all of that. And I know the helpline that Life Armour have got is also very good. I'll give you, but bare necessities, I'll give you the details in just a moment. But there is support out there, and there are, I think if people have got specific on this phone over here, I don't want us to cut off. I'm just going to try putting in. It has got a charger, but you know what these things are like. Sometimes they have a mind of their own, don't they? Actually, maybe I'll swap them over with this one. Thank you so much for being with us, Sarah. I love it. We've had such great chats before. I'd love to do more. I kind of don't want to overload everybody. I feel that there was a lot of information there. People might want to kind of go and replay it and revisit it and come back. Remind us your contact details again if people want to get in touch.
So my Instagram is at sarahjforjacksonhealth.co.uk, and my website is the same, www.sjhealth.co.uk. So if anyone has any specific questions, I'm very happy to answer. Just DM me on Instagram. And if anyone has ME, CFS and is looking for support, then that's the Optimum Health Clinic.
Optimum Health Clinic, brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. So nice to chat, and I've learned a lot, particularly about maca, which has renewed my interest in the herbs, so thank you.
There's so many more, so yeah, plenty.
Let's do it again, I'll make sure everyone's got a pen and paper handy. We can, we're going to be, oh my goodness, we're going to be so genned up, aren't we, by the end of, I don't know, whenever. Well, it's just ongoing, isn't it, learning. That's what I love about my job. I've been writing about these things for 35 years and still every day learning new stuff that's valuable, so.
Yeah, exactly, we never stop doing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Liz, I really appreciate your time. Thanks for inviting me back.
Thank you, have a great rest of the week. Bye-bye. You'll need to leave me, because if I leave you, I think I'll clip everybody off. Oh, wasn't that just so interesting? So, I know people are asking for website addresses and links and things. So, Life Armour, that's these guys, Life Armour, okay? So you can see from my little collection of bottles, I just love them. And yeah, I do, my children have these. Slumber Drops in particular, and also the one that has the vitamin D. I like giving that to them, because they're not very good on capsules, and I find that as well with older people, or maybe just not somebody who likes swallowing handfuls of pills. And as we know, when things get directly, under the tongue into the system, it's much more easily absorbed and much faster, which is very good. I took my NMN this morning under my tongue. Anybody else taking NMN? Oh my goodness, that is such good stuff. I love that too. Right, so definitely there's a lot of chat about menopause as well. So yes, you can take these alongside HRT. I do. And it just helps, particularly with anxiety. There's a very good article, actually, if you're somebody who has an issue with menopausal or perimenopause anxiety due to fluctuating levels of estrogen in the brain, please do go to lizearlewellbeing.com. I hope everyone's following our Menopause Awareness Month, #MyMenopause. Lorraine, you need to be taking the NMN for about a month, okay? I've now upped my dosage. I'm now having 2 scoops under the tongue, and it is just great. But any issues with it, please do contact Ed at Youth and Earth, okay? Because he is very, very good on his help. Now, if you would like to get a free Drops of Vitality, yes, absolutely free, this one, which is normally £22, we have a small number as subscription gifts with the magazine. So if you have yet to subscribe to Liz Earle Wellbeing magazine, or you'd like to give it as a gift subscription and get your free drops, I mean, come on, what a great deal, then that is a way to get a free bottle. So thank you very much, Life Armour, for supporting my magazine and my team. I think that is absolutely genius. And what you can do is you can set up the gift subscription maybe as a Christmas present for somebody. Good to tick a few of those off the list, wouldn't it, really? And then have that sent, have the Christmas edition sent to them, maybe as the first one. Or you can start in January if you wanted them, you know, to get the first one beginning of 2022. What you would need to do is ring Warners. So Warners are the people who do all our lovely magazine subscriptions. And if you just click on, you can do it online if you want to. If you do want to do it online, it's fine. They will send the magazine subscription and the gift to the same address. If you want to split it, i.e. you're giving a gift subscription, but you want to have the gift yourself, yes, of course you want to give that as well, then you just need to pick up the phone and call them. And they're all here in the UK. They're lovely people. Their customer service is very, very good. I know lots of you have said that you've been impressed with Warners. So yeah, I love them too. They've been very good. Oh, lots and lots of chat. Lots of chat. Life Armour, thank you for answering so many questions on Instagram. It's really great to have you with us. It really is, because these things, you know, just are so helpful. Okay, so NMN, please contact Youth and Earth if you would like. They are just so good. They really are good. And I would definitely give a shout out as well to Life Code GX, the nutrigenomic testing, because so much of how we respond to vitamins depends on our genetic variations. So for example, did you know that? Didn't sound as though it broke, did it? That's okay. So much of how we respond to vitamins comes from our genetic variances. So Brella, my youngest daughter, she doesn't absorb or transport vitamin D very well. And we knew that from her genetic testing. She's also got some issues with methylation and B vitamins. So this is all really helpful for her. So absolutely fascinating stuff. And we have a special deal with Life Code GX. It is more expensive. Normally their nutrigenomic tests are about £400. With the Liz Loves code, I think it comes down to about 330, and that includes a consultation with a private practitioner. Normally you have to go through a special practitioner to actually access Life Code GX, because it is a little bit complicated. But we've set up this special system just purely for the Liz Earle Wellbeing community. So you get money off and you get the free consultation, one-to-one online with somebody. And I will be talking a bit more with Emma Bezitt. Emma Bezitt is just great, another great British female founder, and she and I have podcasted together. We've got clips on YouTube talking about some of these things. I shared really openly the results that I got from my genetic testing, because it was so fascinating. And it's extraordinary how much, you know, we just need to know really about what's going on in our bodies. It can tell you clinically whether you're lactose intolerant or not. You might think you are, but there might be other things at play. So yeah, really. What do I talk about when I have a cold coming on? Okay, that's interesting. So this was a question just being asked now. What do I take when I feel a cold coming on? Well, luckily, I haven't really felt too sniffly touching wood madly. But if I do, it's Lactoferrin. Okay, Lactoferrin. If you caught my previous IGTV with lovely, another great female founder, Stephanie at Leapfrog. So, and we do have the Liz Loves code. So Lactoferrin, again, it's not the cheapest supplement, but boy does it work. If you begin to feel a sniffle, I'm actually doing my cycling with Lactoferrin. So I'm just coming up to the end of a month now taking Lactoferrin. And then I'll leave it for a month, and then I'll go month on, month off, which is kind of partly where the name Leapfrog came from, because you leapfrog month on. But if I just begin to sense that, you know, I'm coming down with something, bang, straight away, and my kids too, everybody. So Leapfrog, let me just check on the discount for you. Leapfrog Remedies, 10% off, leapfrogremedies.com. Thank you very much, Lainey. You've popped that up there, Leapfrog Remedies. And they do a trial pack. You can get a little pack, I think, of 15 little lozenges that you just suck under the tongue. You just take one a day. And that's really good. If you want to try it out, I would definitely always have some in my first aid cupboard. Definitely. Because, you know, you want to nip these things in the bud, don't you? You know, if you feel that, you know, you see that your kid's suddenly coming down with a runny nose, or you feel a tickly throat or whatever, you just immediately. So it's no good then thinking, oh, I wish I had some Lactoferrin, and then you find a website, and then you sign up for it, and then the post is delayed, and then, like, you know, 3 days later you've got it. No, trust me on this one. Really, even if it's just the little small pack to start with. But then I go on, like, I bulk buy it now because it's a bit cheaper, and I can still use my Liz Loves discount. Okay, so, gosh, there's been just so much that we've talked about. One of the things also that I got out of my cupboard this morning, and I'm very curious to see, this has got the Rhodiola in it. This is Indie. Remember Sarah was talking about Rhodiola just now. So this is Indie Mind, and this is this powder that you make into a drink. Really good. And then this is the one which I'm actually having at the moment. This is the one that has got, again, lots of cherry, lots of protein. This is Indie Tone, so if you're working out, then you can make that again into like an extra value protein drink. This is another really good female founder brand. I love all these things. Do please go and take a look at their website. They are called indiesupplements.com, I-N-D-I, indiesupplements.com. I think they're really good, and again, they're the kind of things that I have in my cupboard and I just reach for, don't use it all the time. I've actually got one here on the go. I think you can get these. This is marked Indie. I think they must have sent this to me. I think you can get these. So this has got a shaker in it. So you literally, I just threw some milk in here with some powder, and then, you know, you can have that whenever. Excellent. Like that very much. So we did have a discount, and then it expired, but so many of you loved it so much that we've got it back. So Indie Supplements, we do now have, wait for it, 15% off if you want to try anything, indiesupplements.com. So all of these things, I think, you know, the thing is, look, I think they're great, and I definitely have a big selection in my cupboard that I dip in and dip out of. Some I get on more than others. I love the Life Armour range, you know that. I love the Indie supplements. I love Better You for my vitamin D and my magnesium. I really love having my NMN. I always want to say it the other way around, but NMN, that's how it is, NMN from Youth and Earth. Fascinating, all that chat with Ed, just so brilliant. And I just think if we can help get through this time, not only this time as in what's happening all around us, but also seasonally, you know, so that we can feel fitter, we can feel brighter, we can sleep better, we can have more energy, we can be happier, our brains can be sharper, all of these things. Please do take a look at what we're doing for Menopause Awareness Month. There's going to be a lot happening. I'm very excited. I am due to be recording a podcast with Dr. Louise Newson a little bit later this week, which will come out on Friday, part of my Friday 5. Hope you are enjoying the podcast series. So we are in the middle of our 12th series. My goodness, we've had now 2 million downloads, something like that. Crazy. Thank you very much for everybody who supports the podcast by listening and giving us a little 5-star rating. You know, we see it all. We really appreciate it. Thank you. and it's lovely to do it, and it's lovely to be able to connect with so many great people. Yeah, who's that? Duxter Deb says, I've taken Rhodiola on and off for years. It's helped calm my inner critic. Yeah, absolutely. I know that little voice inside that is just stressing us out sometimes. Yeah. Anyway, that is it for today. I will be back with you on Wednesday for Wellbeing Wednesday. And lots of good things going on. I'm trying to remember what we were doing on Wednesday. Can't remember. It's been one of those days. Anyway, I'll pop it up on my Instagram. Thank you for all your comments on Instagram. I will get round and answer as many as I can a little bit later on. Thanks, Geraldine. Thank you. Thanks, Devon Creator. Yeah, we just need to silence those bad voices. Yeah, you can definitely use. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, the powder can go a little bit hard sometimes, the mind powder, but I just scoop it out with a spoon and mix it up. It's all so good. Excellent. It was good. Thanks, Life on Nutrition, and thank you very much indeed for your free gifts for the magazine. Really. Yeah, I am going to work on a plan. It's on my to-do list. I promise. Hope you can rewatch it. Yeah, rewatch it. Honestly, rewatch it and share it because it's good stuff. Who knew about Maca? Oh, it sounds really good. I should definitely keep on with my super me. Anyway, have a lovely day. Really nice to see you all. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.